right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is George Sookochoff. He's the CEO of Belmont Resources. And George, it's nice to have you along. How are you?
Very good, Steve. Thank you. Very good morning here. It's getting back to normal here in Vancouver, it seems.
Yeah, it's getting to that point for sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Super excited to learn a bit more about your company and your projects as well. But before we do that, maybe just give us a little background on Belmont.
Yeah, I joined the company as president and CEO about a little over under 2 years. And our objective was to focus on acquiring properties. We have, first of all, a lithium project in Nevada that we worked on previously, but the board wanted to focus on an area in southern BC, an area that I'm very familiar with, born and raised there. It's considered to be the Greenwood Mining District and the Republic Mining District. And it was a matter of trying to acquire some properties there to make inroads into the gold and copper sector. And this Greenwood area here, Greenwood Grand Forks, I'm from Grand Forks, has a really rich history in mining. There's some 30 historic mines in the area. In fact, this is their mine in the 1890s to early 1900s. And there's so many mines there, in fact, that Grand Forks had the second largest copper smelter in the world. And that was taking copper ore from all these mines in the area. So again, it has a very rich history. And growing up in the area, I knew a lot about it. And so when I came on board and they asked me, can you find projects? Absolutely, I was fully aware of it. So we acquired in this area 3 projects, and that we'll focus on what I'd like to discuss today. So, and
Let's talk about those projects. Tell me about the first 2 that you acquired, and we'll talk about the Lone Star one in a couple of minutes. But first, tell me about the first 2 you acquired.
Well, we acquired all these projects from private hands, and just knowing the people there, knowing the background, knowing what the position was, what they wanted to do with the property. So I was very familiar. And the first one we acquired was the Athelstan Jackpot, and this was two former gold mines on the property. They mined in the early 1900s, 8,000 ounces gold, 9,000 ounces silver. Today's prices, that's a nice, cool $16 million. And what we're looking for really is we're looking for past producing mines. And the whole model behind this is that these miners, there's a couple of things. They couldn't go very deep with technology. They just were shallow mining. So they're basically scratching the surface of these mines. Secondly, is that they just if they didn't see the gold, they didn't mine it. So it was all visual mining only. So a lot of the unseen gold, the finer gold that we're able to mine today, it's being left behind. So on the AJ, we acquired that 100%, and we did some initial drilling under the 2 mines, looking for the deep source. We really didn't find it, but what we're finding is that there's a lot of material near surface, gold material. In particular, there's a lot of the mining dumps there from these old-time miners that they just threw out this, and we're looking into a couple things here, and sort of reprocessing all this dump material initially, and also in the trenching there, it's been significant high-grade gold. So we're looking at probably focusing on the near surface, and in particular, I'll mention at this time probably, is that in particular what makes this potentially viable is that there is a mill nearby within the AJ. It's a stone's throw. It's virtually half a kilometer away. And this is a 200-ton per day mill that's owned by Golden Dawn Minerals. They're a major player in the area as well. And they've recently announced this mill has been on care and maintenance for the past few years, but they've announced they're going to restart the mill and get it going. That opens up significant potential in this area as far as these smaller time operations, which there's no place to ship the ore to otherwise, or if you do ship it, it's far away and it's not economical. So it's a deal breaker basically.
Okay.
So the combination, so that's what makes all these viable.
Yeah. What about the other project?
Yeah, the second property. So the second property is we picked up again privately. It turned out I went to school with a gentleman who lives in Grand Forks, and when I was looking around this property, who owns it? And oh my God, I know this guy. So I gave him a call. A fantastic property. He tried to work it himself for the last number of years, him and his 3 sons. And he proved to be nice. Look, let's do a deal. We'll give you stock, etc. And it turns out that we did some very quick geophysics on it and airborne, et cetera, and it turns out from all this data we're requiring that it's a potential for a large copper gold porphyry system. We're very surprised. We thought it'd be a smaller skarn type. When we did all the geophysical surveys, there are a really significant potential porphyry here. We plan to do some initial IP, and it'll give us some definitive drill targets, and we're waiting for our drill permits to go through, and we'll start drilling once the permits are approved.
Okay. You had some recent news out, George, I want to ask you about quickly, and this is the Lone Star Copper Gold Project. This one is actually in Washington State, and you've announced that you're going to do a 3,000 meter drill program there. So tell me a bit about this one and about this drill program.
Yeah, this was really something. This was a property I was sort of familiar with, and it's just virtually across the border from Grand Forks, and it ties in with all our other projects there. They're all within 10 kilometers of each other. This project has a current, not a current, but a historic resource, and it's been a sleeper. It's been sitting there unnoticed for the last 10, 15 years. Wow. It was owned previously by Merit Mining. They had actually owned the mill initially. They built the mill in 2007, and they were going to process ore from the Lone Star and also two other mines that they owned in the area, the Lexington and the Golden Crown. Unfortunately, they built a mill and they processed material for about a couple of months. Unfortunately, 2007 crash came, and everything shut down. The mill was dormant. And so I looked around and I found the original owner, and we made a deal on it. It has a current or a historic resource, and the resource is only historic, considered historic if there's a property change of ownership. If there is a current resource on there, as soon as a change of ownership, it's considered historic immediately. That's one of the rules on that. So we're going to bring back do a couple of things, bring back the historic to current. But before we do that, we're going to expand on this really nice resource here. It has about over 600,000 tons of inferred material, 33 million pounds of copper, about 6,000 ounces of gold, but it's really open in all directions. So a little bit of drilling will continue on expand that resource. So this is a great project we're focused on. Again, the mill is there now. It's easy to ship, potentially ship the material from just south of the border, 7 kilometers away to the mill. So all these properties tie in. The fact that the mill, Golden Dawn, announced opening the mill, it's all quite significant now. And we're very fortunate that all this is sort of, the planets are lining up, so to speak. And in this business, it's very seldom that the planets really do line up. All these variables at play, So I think they're lining up, and when they do, you got to act on it quickly, And so here we are, ready to go.
All right. Well, that's we'll leave it there. But George, excited. It sounds like it's going to be very busy over the next few months, and that means you and I will have a lot of chance to talk about things that are happening within Belmont. So thanks so much for the initial update, and we look forward to talking again real soon.
Very good, Steve. Thank you very much. And yes, we will be busy.
All right. Sounds good. There's George Sookochoff. He's the CEO of Belmont Resources.